In PowerShell, for example, you can use many different CMDlets, as they call them, and there is a great website, SS64, that accumulates a lot of different tutorials and manual pages for specifically for command line interfaces like Bash and PowerShell and CMD and OSX, and some database administration too in web programming. So despite my biased opinion, it turns out there is a lot of things you can do with just command line cmd.exe. Okay, but there are things you cannot do. For example, first of all, you cannot extend that. You have to upload your own binaries to do something beyond this functionality. But for example, you cannot download a web link, right? You cannot download something just by referring a URL. And let's see what we can do with PowerShell. With PowerShell, we can really do a lot. Okay, so there are extensions beyond this set of CMDlets. Okay, but as you can see, we can do some cycling, right, for each element. We can do just simple for, the same way we can do in CMD.exe. We can get items, right? We can refer to registry or file systems, and we can do that recursively by relatively setting this to some root, yeah, and then just putting it like that. And there are really cool aliases for that, right? So for example, in permission denied, let's still get to user directory, and here this typo doesn't mean anything anymore, right? So we can ls in PowerShell in Windows the same way we do that in Bash. Okay, so these CMDlets, they have these really nice aliases, and for example, new item dependent on the context, right? Will either make device, I guess, make directory, or create a new file. Remove item will, of course, do that depending on the context. It will remove a file or directory or something. So let's pay more attention to this. So pwd get location, does it work? Of course it does. I don't know, move of course works as well. Select object, that's more for WMI interfacing. Output to printer works the same way it does in Unix systems, and many more, right? Okay, so you can sleep, you can tea, so you can do very different things, and there are some really cool ones. For example, you can issue calls to Windows Management Instruments, right? Interface. That's quite interesting once you have an idea about what it is. So basically, everything is services in Windows interpretation of its architecture, and you can. It's somehow obsolete because now it's all wrapped into these PowerShell methods. But previously, you could do that from Visual Basic, for example. You could write a console script in Visual Basic and do that WMI stuff. Now it's more simple. Let's just see some very basic things we can get out of a PowerShell session. So, of course, let's try to see the event log. Okay, it's pretty simple. Nothing is shown. Why? Oh, we have to do something more. We have to, and the name is I don't know, security, right? Okay. Still don't have permissions. Wait, there is not much you can do with low permissions on the system. Let's exit PowerShell. Let's end our interpreter session. Is our exploitation running? No. Let's exploit -j once again. And let's go to our Windows machine and rerun. Oh, it's actually showing event log, but not to the console. It's showing the MSC environment that is set to browsing the event log. So let's run this as administrator, okay? Is that okay? It just crashed. Probably just crashed. No? Yes? Nothing is coming with the payload. Oh. I start worrying. No one is calling back. The job is there, it's listening. And if we run it as a privileged user, connection is not coming back. What's the matter? It's really funny. We'll do it locally or what? Yeah. So most probably there is a policy that just prevents local administrator from running code from shares in the network or something. So we have this session here. Let's make it, let's see what it is. We are still the user, but we are running in a privileged mode now, I guess. So let's get it interactive. And now let's go see where it gets us. So when we have the real administrator permissions, we can now run PowerShell, of course, more effectively. Let's get back to our reference. So let's just search for user, right? So there is this get credential. Very smart thing. So what it does, it basically interactively asks user for the new credential that will be then provided to your session, right? So let's just do that. Okay. So it's doing something. What the user sees at this moment is this really legitimate window. He has to provide his username and password here, and that happens a lot, as you might know if you use Windows. So they just give the username and password here, and here you are. So now your session credentials have this in their disposal. So that's quite a cool thing, and there are ways to abuse that, of course. So if you are like having some interactive access on a low level, right, just on the interpreter level, but want to get the actual credentials of the user, you can do that by this way. Okay, so yeah, this is just a simple demonstration of what you can do. Please go to SS64 and experiment at home with the system you have. There are different ways to operate with the output of different commands. For example, you can convert it to CSV, to XML, to HTML, and so on. You can convert from secure string to an encrypted standard string and then decrypt that, right, to get the password reversed, for example. So all this is really, really powerful. For example, let's to end this demonstration, let's show some event log entries. Can we do that? Not exactly. So this will just show us the interactive environment MSC again, right? So this is not what we are interested in. And get event log most probably has to do that. So let's see examples. Get event log, newest log name application. Let's just copy and paste this. Maybe we're just short on input data for this command to run. Yeah, of course. So what we need most probably is security, which is readily available. Where we are here, so this is this escalation, I guess. This is where we have run the batch file with more permissions, yeah, with the administrator level of permissions. So, okay, I hope you get the idea of what's the range and the spectrum of actions you can do and what you can accomplish by that, yeah, by just merely having access to the command line. So get deep into knowing more about that, create your own offline scripts to automate as much information extraction and other post-exploitation activities as you can, because in the wild most probably you will have this one shot, and after some period of time the machine will just reboot or some security mechanism will drop your connection, and you will have to really be fast on that. Yeah, post-exploitation should be automated as much as possible, but not that much but not at the level that will attract additional attention by increasing resource consumption on the target system, right? Because when the fans start to go really fast, yeah, that means that something may go wrong, and an educated user most probably would send an alert message to their security operations team. So let's wrap it up and get to another section.